I want you to always know that you are a beast. You're a beast and you're designed for tough things. And so as we go through what we're going to learn tonight, just understand that whatever challenges you're having in life, whatever things are kicking your butt, you're tougher than them. And if you know that, you'll succeed. So what we're going to be going over is probably one of the best classes I could give you, to be honest with you. We're going to be talking about 10 ways to become a powerful communicator. 10 ways to be a powerful communicator. So they say that death and life are in the power of the tongue. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21 tells us that. And so what I want you to know is that in order for you to master this world, you need to learn to communicate. If you want to learn how to be a great businessman, you need to learn how to communicate. If you want to learn how to be a great husband or father, you need to learn how to communicate. If you want to be a great disciple, you need to learn how to communicate. Even the disciples of Jesus Christ had to learn how to communicate. The Holy Spirit came upon them and they learned how to communicate better and to speak in tongues and to speak to all nations and to be able to heal people, right? But it requires effort and work, right? And so that's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to cover 10 ways to become a powerful communicator, right? So if you're writing things down, this is the class to write things down. I know sometimes my classes where I'm teaching you guys, we go off on tangents and I'm just inspiring you guys. I give you like 3 things to write down at some point and you're just like hooked on phonics, like you're locked in. But this one here is a lot of writing, 10 specific things with notes in between. So open up your heart, open up your mind and be ready, because what I also want you to do is have it written down, because the relationship between a pen and a paper is very special. When you write it down, it tends to stick. And I also want you to be able to turn back to it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday when you are struggling or when you get to that disagreement or you get into that argument, and then you want to be able to focus back in on what we learned about. All right, so.
Hey, Max, before you go ahead, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
I am cheating a little bit. I am going to be taking notes, but I would like to use my little digital AI slave to take everything down and record, like actually note taking, in case I miss something. Does anybody have a problem with that?
Hit it, brother. Hit it. I record all these calls anyway. I'm always spying on you guys.
Go for it.
I'm always spying on you guys. But thank you for asking, man. Just in case, we have some like CIA guys over here. I did have one guy in my previous program who was trying to get into the CIA, and he was like, he was like, hey man, I can't build social media account. Like I can't do that, bro. Like I'm trying to stay low key. I'm like, okay, whatever. Right. So you never know. So, all right. 10 ways to be a powerful communicator. You guys ready for this? Number 1, speak with a purpose. Speak with a purpose. Not just words, right? When you speak with a purpose, it's about having intention behind what you're going to say. I told this to you guys before. The words in which you speak are actual physical items. They're things. You could hit somebody with them. They're physical. Use them intentionally. You wouldn't just hit somebody with your car. You drive it intentionally. So treat your words the same way. Use them intentionally. And as I told you, the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21 says that death and life are in the power of the tongue. So I want you to know that every word you speak is a seed, and it will grow something. Make sure you know what you're planting. Sometimes we want to be able to plant an apple tree, but we end up planting weeds, right? So before you speak, ask yourself, is what I'm about to say true? Is this necessary? And is this the right time? Another way of looking at it is, does this need to be said does this need to be said, number 1? And then number 2, does this need to be said by me? And then number 3, does this need to be said by me right now? So if you can go through those 6 questions in your mind, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said by me right now? Does it need to be said at all? And if the answer is yes, then go for it. And you know what? When you're the leader of your home, about 75% of the time, the answer is going to be yes. So that's the good news. But sometimes when you're out and about and out in the world and in the workplace, the answer is usually like 20% of the time, maybe 15% of the time, maybe even 10% of the time, the answer is yes. And the other 90% of the time, you let all the other big brain guys, all the big brain ideas and the big brain egos do their thing. And you sit back and you observe and you wait, because it's so easy to jump in and want to be the person with the solution or the big guy leader, when in reality, the more you say, the more opportunities you give yourself to look like a fool. Powerful men don't talk to fill space. They talk to build, to correct, to encourage, or to lead. And so your words spoken in anger or frustration to your wife, to your kids, they can take years to undo. And words spoken with intention can change a life in seconds. That's the power that you have. So, speak with a purpose. Speak with purpose. Right? Pretty good one there, right? Like, it seems obvious, but it's important. This is the thing that builds your relationships. This is what's going to build your children to be powerful. You could break your kids down and not even be knowing that you're breaking them down. You can have a 20-year-old son who just needs to hear something from his dad. Because 20 years old, he's still a boy. I know he acts like a man, right? We were all there. He's still a boy. Number 2. This one's powerful. I want you to learn to master the pause. Master the pause. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 28, it says, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. Right? Think about that. Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. A fool sits next to the king, and the king makes an order to cut someone's head off. And everyone can tell that the king is not in a good mood. And so today is not the day to test him. Even the fool stays quiet at that time. It would not be wise to speak up. See, silence, believe it or not, is not weakness. It's actually a form of control. Raise your hand if you want to be a man who's in control. Raise your hand if you want to be a man who's in control and in power. Okay, good. So the reality is, silence actually is both of those things. It is both control and it is both power. So, practice it. Master the pause. The man who masters the pause and pauses before he responds shows he's thinking, not reacting. So learn to get comfortable with silence in conversation. Most people, what they'll do is they'll rush to fill the silence. You don't have to. So somebody asks you a question. Max, what do you think about this? Well, the space is now mine. It happens to me all the time at work. I'm not the most senior guy. I'm an E7, I'm a gunnery sergeant, but my opinion matters a lot. Because when I give it seldom, but when I give it, they take it because it works, because I'm good at what I do, right? And so I sit at the round table with the command element. I got the major and the sergeant majors and E9s, and they say, okay, well, what should we make this priority? What should be this priority? What's the thing? Well, Dutton, what do you think? Now, at that point, when they ask me, the space is mine. I can take as much time as I want to respond. There's no rush. If I say, at this moment, the whole room is silent, and they're watching me. They're watching. And then I give my point, in my opinion, after I give it some deliberation. Because the space is mine. I don't have to rush. Well, I tell you, it makes a lot of sense because, and then I just agree with whatever somebody said before me. Well, now I'm incompetent. So the reason to ask me next time diminishes a little bit. Until eventually they know that if they ever call on me, my opinion is going to be either a repeat of what was given to me once before, or it will be something that it was not well thought out and anybody could have thought of, which nobody needs. So master the pause. A pause before a key point makes people lean in, and it signals that what's coming next matters. Check. Master the pause. At work, at home, doesn't matter. Now, raise your hand if you've been in an argument recently with somebody. It doesn't matter who it was. It could be a small little petty thing, right? Like anything, right? Just a little bicker or whatever happens, right? The third point I want to make to you tonight is to learn to understand what someone's saying. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand what this person's saying. I don't care how mad you are at them. I don't care how impatient you are. You can ask my wife. I am a very impatient man because I have so many things on my plate that when she starts talking, my wife is very intentional when she speaks. She says things and she goes from the beginning of the idea all the way to the end of the idea. Now, one thing I tell you about my wife is the end of everything she has to say is very important. But she goes through every single step before she gets there. And so for me, I'm like, I know that. Okay. I'm trying to get to the, and then I try to get to the last part because I know the last part's the juice, right? And then there's the thing. Okay, got it. Okay, got it, babe, got it, right? And so sometimes, though, what I find myself doing is I miss the in-between. Sometimes there's good stuff in the middle that I don't actually know because I'm listening to respond to what she's saying instead of listening to understand everything. And this is a skill that has to be practiced constantly. And so the Bible teaches us in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19, to let every man be quick to hear and slow to speak. So most people listen at about 25% capacity. And the other 75% is spent planning what to say next because they want to sound smart. And so when someone feels truly heard by you, they will trust you. When you take the moment to shut off your mouth, open your ears, and listen to what they're saying, you learn so much. You learn whether or not somebody's being honest with you or dishonest with you. You learn whether or not this is somebody that is competent or not. Or you build trust. And if you can build trust while you're doing that, that's called influence. Eye contact, body language, and a stillness tells somebody that you are fully present. So one of the things that you can do is you can ask yourself after every important conversation, could I summarize what they said back to them accurately? So one of the things that we do in the military, in the recruiting space, is that, right? We what we call it is we reflect what they said, right? So they tell us something and we say, okay, so what you're saying is, and then we reflect what they just told us as detailed as possible so that we know that they know that we know what's most important to them. Imagine doing that to your significant other. Imagine doing that to your brothers, to your son. Your son comes to you, Dad, I'm really stressed about this thing. And it's like, well, tell me what's going on, son. Well, it's just this thing and this thing and this problem and this thing. And you sit there and you listen. And you're not trying to connect the dots to all the experiences you had or the nonsense you think that he's talking about, but you're really listening to what he's going through. And then now it's time to reflect back, right? So, hold on. What you're saying is that you went through this thing and that resulted in this, and ultimately now because of that you feel like this? Is that what you mean? Wow, man. I'm sorry you're going through that. He's going to look at you and be like, man, this man really listening to me. Or your wife's going to look at you and be like, yeah, okay, he's locked in right now. It's an important trait to listen, understand, and not to respond. We don't know as much as we think we do. Number 4, we're going to speak from conviction, not emotion. A soft answer turns away wrath. In Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, we speak from conviction, not emotion. What does that mean? Well, emotion makes you loud. Conviction makes you dangerous. In the best way. When you're triggered, your message gets lost in your tone. Raise your hand if you've ever been accused of being angry when you're not actually angry. Lucas is like, oh, he already has his hand up. Right? You're not really angry. You're being accused of being aggressively or loud, or like you're just kind of being accused of it, even though you're not really like mad. It's because your message is being lost in your tone. And people, they stop hearing what you're saying and they start watching what you're doing. They start watching your pattern. They start watching your body language, and they zone out of what you're saying. And believe it or not, we get excited, and we have to learn to dial it back in. One of the things, my dad, he knows my anger well. I grew up with a rage of an anger, and he would tell me to always count to 10. Still to this day, he'll call me, hey, all right, son, love you. Don't forget, count to 10. Like, I know what that means. He knows what that means. Like, count to 10. Like, don't lose it. Because I'm impatient. Like, if you get me to a certain point, at least when I was younger, I'm much better today. I still get there from time to time, but I'm much better today. But there was a point where, like, it didn't take much. Step on the back of my shoes, and I'm losing it, dude. Right? But that's just how it was. When you grow up the way that some of us grew up, it's just kind of the reaction that you have, right? And so, but you have to understand that even through your passion and your emotion, people, they stop hearing what you said. So understand that a man who can stay calm under pressure is the man that everyone looks to when things fall apart. Like, stuff is popping off. You handle yourself, cool off, relax, calm down. Where are we at? Let's get oriented, right? The OODA loop, the decision-making process. Where are my Marines at, right? The OODA loop. That's how it is, right? Observe, orient, decide, act. And we observe, we see what's going on, we orient ourselves, where are we at, what's the situation, we make a decision, and then we go for it. Might not be the best decision, but it's a decision. We got to do something, right? And a decision sometimes is better than no decision. And so that's what's required of us. So I want you to know that conviction is speaking truth that costs you something. It's the kind of speech that carries weight that emotions never can carry. It's conviction. It's not emotion. You're not upset. One of the better ways to be able to determine this is by you never say harsh things. You just say true things. And you enunciate your words when you do it. And you slow your speech when you do it. In fact, when I speak to you guys, a lot of the times as I'm speaking to you, I speak with conviction, not emotion. Even when I get loud, I'm speaking with conviction. Even in this moment, I'm enunciating my words to ensure that you understand the gravity of what I am saying. Conviction. All right. So that's number 4. All right. Let's move into the 5th one. And this one is, I'm telling you, this one is, it relates to me deeply, right? When I'm writing this one down, I'm thinking, like, well, you know what? Like, how do we all have our own story? We all have our own background. We all have our own history. In Revelation chapter 12, verse 11, says they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. It's 2 things there. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. What I want you to know is your pain, your trauma, your divorce, your heartache, the things you've been through, they are not liabilities. Your past is not a prison for you. It is simply just a proof that God works. So I want you to own your story. Your story is your story. Own your story is number 5. Men who hide their story, they give up their authority. It is your origin story. Batman became Batman through his trauma. Batman became Batman through that pain. And he forged him into the man that he became, the hero that he became, the hero that Gotham needed, not that Gotham wanted, right? Whatever it is. That's who you are. You're the hero that your world needs, not necessarily wants. So you can't hide your story. You own it. And the men who own it become a beacon for others. You become a point of strength. People follow me because I'm imperfect. They follow me because I'm a normal man that has overcome one thing or another that they are trying to overcome, and I can help them with that one particular thing. Just like there's many of you here have overcome things that I either have gone through and working through, or I may go through in the future and will need to figure out how to get through. And so, like, we all have a type of thing that we provide to the world. You are the beacon for others because of your story. And so you don't have to have it all together to speak powerfully. Like, if you think your coach, Max Dutton, if you think I have my life all together, you're wrong. I cry sometimes. I punch the bag in anger sometimes. I go on passion runs sometimes. I pray and I ask God for answers just like you do. I have my own things I'm working through. I have my own dreams I'm trying to chase. I have my own concerns of the world. I have my own political opinions. I have my own desires. I have my own distastes. I have it all. I have my own battles. So you don't have to have it all together. You can still, we're all sinners. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's only one perfect human who's ever lived. His name is Jesus. And we're not him. By no means. So you don't have to have it all together to speak powerfully. You just have to be honest. And if you're honest, that's all you need. That'll take you the longest way. Somebody in your home or in your workplace or in your church needs to hear exactly what you've been through. Your story is someone else's survival guide. Believe it or not. So that puts us at our 50% mark. Those are the first 5 things. Just to recap. Number 1, speak with purpose, not just words. Number 2, master the pause. Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. Number 3, listen to understand, not to respond. Number 4, speak with conviction, not emotion. Number 5, own your story. Own your story. So, as we move into the second half of these, I was talking to Lucas about this one yesterday in our 101. Lucas, his wife, Debbie, me, we're doing a very exclusive program. It's a couples sessions that we do with some of our students. It's a little bit different than the regular men group. It's a little bit more detailed in the marriage space. And I'm talking to Lucas about some of his issues, and the advice I gave him is the same advice I'm going to give all of you tonight, which is learn to ask better questions. You got to learn to ask questions. See, understand this concept here. People do what you want them to do, not because of what you tell them. but because of what you ask them. If somebody hurts your feelings, you could say, why did you say that to me? That's inappropriate. I don't even know why you would talk to me that way. I'm your husband. How dare you speak to me that way? I would never allow you to do that. How can you do that to me? That's not the reason why I married you. That's not who I thought you were. That's not it, right? And it's like, well, yeah, that's one way of going about it. Or you could say, quick question for you. How do you think what you just said sounded? Do you think that that's something that will make me respond better to you? Or do you think it will make me respond negatively to you? Does it make you feel good to speak to me that way? Are you proud of yourself when you do that to me? Is this something that's helping our relationship or hurting our relationship? When we went to church today and the pastor said that we should respect each other, that the husband is the head of the family and the wife is the head of the children and Christ is the head of the man, was this what he was talking about? Does that feel like a biblical relationship, what you just did? Is that how a Proverbs 31 woman speaks to her husband, or am I missing something? Right? And you get them to, you ask questions, right? Maybe you're at work. John, let me ask you, did you mean for it to sound that way? Right? He's like, huh? Well, it sounded really condescending. I'm just asking, did you mean for it to sound that way? Or were you looking to do something else with those words? Okay. Is there a better way that we could work through that conflict? What would happen if we restarted this conversation and we went about this differently? Is that something that's possible? Right? Like when we ask questions, Jesus asked over 300 questions in the Gospels. He used questions to unlock and to challenge and to transform people. A great question does more than an entire great speech. Because what it does is it makes people arrive at the truth by themselves. And when somebody makes their own determination, they will take action. When somebody makes their own determinations, they will take action because it's not your idea. It's theirs. And people love their own ideas. They love their own ideas. That's what questions do. And so we have to stop asking surface level questions. What do you really mean by that? Okay, babe, what would change everything for you? Like what would change everything for you? What would make you truly satisfied in this situation? What can I do truly? And if I execute on it right now, it would make things just a little bit better. What would that be? Real questions. Instead of, what's wrong? What's wrong? Right? What's wrong? Right? A caveman, me hungry, right? Like, we got to do better, you know? And so communication is super, super important. Questions, what they do is they show respect. They say, I value your thinking, not just your agreement. And I'll tell you what they also do is they put people in their place. Because they get people to realize what they're doing. Because sometimes people get emotional and they say things they don't mean, and it gets them to rehash the realities of that particular situation. All right, number 7. We're going to eliminate weak language. I struggle with this, right? We're going to eliminate weak language. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37, it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Well, I don't struggle with some of this. I struggle with cursing. I curse way too much. Like, as a Marine, if there's one thing I cannot wait about being in the Marine Corps, it's getting out of the Marine Corps. I cannot wait to get out of the Marine Corps for the sole fact that everyone in the Marine Corps just curses like crazy. And I get sucked into it, right? And so let your yes be yes and your no be no. Eliminate weak language. Weak language sounds like this. I think maybe we kind of, sort of, I'm not sure, but, right, raise your hand if you're guilty of that. I don't know. I think maybe we just sometimes, right? Like, certainty is the key, gents. Be a man. You don't want uncertainty. And what it does is it invites people to stop taking you seriously. I want you to replace I think with words like I believe. Replace maybe with, instead of saying, well, maybe we do this, just make a decision. Say, we're going to do this. Replace, well, I'll try with I will. You're not going to try anything. What did Yoda say? Do or do not. There is no try, right? What a wise young green alien. That's what we are going to do. We're not going to try. We're going to do it. I will. See, your vocabulary is a reflection of your confidence. Life is ones and zeros, gentlemen. You are or you're not. I know we like to believe that there's this gray area. But what you learn about yourself, if you're willing to learn, is that you're not nearly as confident or well-spoken as you believe. Understand that your vocabulary is a reflection of your confidence. Some of you bend the knee to your spouse, and you're afraid to say, this is what we're doing. You're afraid to say, I believe that that's incorrect or that's wrong. You're afraid to say, I'm going to do this. I've been a victim of that. Sometimes some of you guys are afraid to go into the garage. You're afraid to go into the garage and like disappear for an hour in the garage because they might need you for something, or they might you're afraid. Some of you are afraid to go to work and ask your boss for a raise. Like, you're afraid. You're afraid to ask for more money. Ask him for more money. Get an extra $100 a week. He'll give it to you. He'll give it to you. Right? Don't be afraid. If you clean up your vocabulary, I want you to watch and see how differently people will begin to respond to you. All right, number 8. I want you to communicate vision, not just information. Communicate vision. Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2. Write the vision, make it plain. Facts inform people, but a vision moves a person. There's a massive difference between the two. Martin Luther King Jr., for example, didn't say, I have a plan. He said, I have a dream. Now, granted, he stole that line from somebody else. He plagiarized that. But in any case, I have a dream. Here's my vision. They say that a vision without action is just a dream. And they say that action without vision is a nightmare. You need to have a vision and a dream and a goal and a direction for your life, a direction for your family, and you need to communicate that about where you see your life, where you see your plans, what's going on. Be inspired by your future, so then that way when you speak to people, you're capable of moving them. When you communicate as a leader, whether you're at home or you're at work, or if you're at the church or you're in ministry, I want you to help people see the destination, not just the next step. You're going to paint a picture of the results of what they could do or could be or could have. Your wife, you're talking to her like, look, babe, I want you to understand that the reason why I'm trying to get us to do this is because I see us living this kind of life in this type of place, doing these types of things. I want to buy that farm, right, Ryan? I want to get in that land and I want to build that dream. And so in order for us to do that, we got to take these steps. This is the dream. Me and Debbie do that all the time, bro. She has to deal with this all day long. I come home, I come downstairs, I'm like, babe, I got a dream, right? Here's the plan, and I got like a whole new thing. And like, I'm just painting these pictures of like, what's next? In the same way I do with you guys, of who you could be, of where you could go with your life. That you are capable of starting, you are capable of being, you are capable of executing, you are. Help people see the destination, not just the next step. Be vision driven, because vision driven communication, it creates buy-in. Buy-in means that people they're willing to invest in you. They buy into it, man. They're like, yeah, I'm all in, dude. Wherever you go, I go. Wherever you're at, that's where I'm at. People will follow a compelling future more than they'll follow the instructions. And again, like I keep bringing up the military a lot in this class, but all my Marines in here, my Army guys, wherever you served, like, that if you had a leader with a vision and you trusted him, and I'll stand behind this man. Like, he knows where we're going. Like, I'll kill for this man. He says, hey, we're busting through this wall. We're going to take everybody out. Like, let's go. So be it. Hey, I'm with you. Versus the person that didn't have a vision, didn't have a dream, wasn't inspiring, and you wouldn't follow them. And they're like, hey, we're going through here. You're like, are you sure? You start questioning things. Are you sure? Right? Like, I might have to drop a grenade in this dude's tent. You know what I mean? I don't know. And so, like, be vision driven with your communication, okay? Number 9. This one's huge. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22 says, I have become all things to all people, so that by all means I might save some. Paul's saying that he wants to save people. So he has become all things to all people. You need to know your audience. Who are you speaking to? And become what they need you to be at that moment. Your son or your daughter or your wife or your boss or your whatever, they might need you to be something different, particularly your family here. Paul adjusted his approach without ever adjusting his message. And that's what it means to be a master communicator. It means being able to tailor what you're saying and how you're saying it. Talking to your son is different than talking to your boss. Talking to your boss is different than talking to your wife. Talking to a hurting man is different than talking to an arrogant one. I want you to think about anytime, at any point in your life, if you ever had a significant other who said, "Hey, I'm not one of your little friends," or I'm not your boss, or I'm not one of your Marines, right? Like, don't talk to me like I'm one of your colleagues at work. Anybody ever say something like that to you? Right? Like, it's because sometimes we carry that language with us. You got to read the room. You got to notice the energy, the body language. And honestly, you have to notice what people aren't saying just as much as what they are saying. Adapting your style is not being fake. It's being wise. It's being smart. And I want you to know that one size does not fit all when it comes to communication. All right, you guys ready for number 10? This is the most important one. This is the biggest one. Raise your hand if you're ready for number 10. Okay, everybody's ready. You're chomping at the bit. Number 10. And this has been a grand package of everything you've been learning with me at Before the Apple. Some of you guys have been with me for 2-3 months. Some of you guys have been with me a couple weeks, but most of you have been here for a while now. And the transformation is taking seed, is taking hold. But honestly, with things that I'm planning, we're just shifting. We're getting ready to shift gears into a whole new realm. the last one here, the book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 says, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works. Let your light shine, Omar, Mike, Ryan, Charles, Carlos, Ryan. Let your light shine. The 10th one is, let your life be the loudest message. Your life. Let that be the message. Not what you say, but what you do. Not your words per se, but your actions be the thing that speaks the loudest. You're always communicating, even when you're not speaking. Your character is the loudest broadcast. See, the truth is most people will forget most of what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. They'll never forget how you showed up, how you came at them. They'll never forget how you inspired them. Your integrity means that your private life and your public words, they match. That alignment is what gives you real authority in life. And the goal is not to be a great talker. The goal is to be a great man whose life makes people want to listen when he does speak to them. That's your goal. That's the plan. That's what it means to let your life be the loudest message. And each and every single one of you is capable of it. And you're working on it every day. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. But these right here, these 10 lessons, these are the things that will change everything for you. So let's recap from number 1 all the way down to number 10. Number 1, speak with a purpose, not just words. Number 2, master the pause. Number 3, listen to understand, not to respond. Number 4, speak from conviction, not emotion. Number 5, own your story. Number 6, ask better questions. Number 7, eliminate weak language. No more I maybes, kind of, sort of, maybe want to be a. Number 8, communicate vision, not just information. Where do you want your family to go? Where do you want to see them? Number 9, know your audience. And number 10, let your life be the loudest message. This class here, if you take these 10 lessons, you will master your communication and you will be able to change not only your own life, but the lives of millions of people throughout your life. Hopefully you take these and you execute on them.